So what is our auditing tools all about? But before we get into that, I just want to find out what is ISO. All right. So ISO is an international organization for standardization, an international body that develops and publishes international standard to ensure, safety, quality, efficiency, and interoperability of products and services. So the overall goal of ISO is basically to make sure that life becomes much easier, much better, much safer. Because without standard, then things are very, very difficult for everyone. All right. So ISO actually publishes a lot of standards, and as a result, a lot of organizations are actually seeking to meet the requirements of these standards to demonstrate their commitment to excellence and continual improvement. And one of such standards is actually the ISO 45001 standard. Now, the ISO 45001 standard is the international standard for occupational health and safety management system. All right, so this standard actually sets the framework for organizations to improve upon the safety of employees, reduce workplace accidents, and create a better and safer work environment for employees. Now, getting certified to the ISO standard is actually a mark of excellence. In fact, it demonstrates that organizations implement a robust management system that enables them to meet international standards, basically, or the management system is in accordance with international best practices. So this comes with a lot of benefits. One of such benefits is the fact that there is an organizational, credibility, trust, and reputation, and that actually helps them to, bid for contracts globally. So in other words, organizations are able to compete globally because they're ISO certified. Now, another benefit is the fact that there's a reduction in workplace accidents, leading to lower insurance premium, less downtime in operations, and that means that there's more profitability or more growth for the business. All right. Again, there's compliance with legal requirement. The fact that you comply with an ISO standard means that you comply with legal requirements as well. And this actually saves organizations from fines and penalties, revocation of licenses that can threaten their very existence as a business. So the benefit is the fact that they're able to sustain the long-term existence of the business for the foreseeable future. All right. Again, another benefit is the fact that there's improvement in the morale of workers. So the morale of workers actually increases significantly because there's a safer workplace that is according to ISO standard or international standard. And that means that workers actually have a safe workplace to deliver their best, and this actually leads to higher productivity. And last but not the least is the fact that there is operational efficiency. There's less wastage in the system, less downtime, so the sustainability of workplace equipment or the efficiency or the functionality of these equipment can actually continue to make an impact in production of whatever products and services that the organization deals in. So this actually also eventually leads to profit for the organization. All right. So in order to actually achieve ISO certification and maintain it, this is where our auditing tools come in. So today's video, we're going to look at our ISO 45001 auditing tool. So that is actually a very unique template for carrying out audits on the health and safety management system in accordance with the ISO standard in order to ensure the level of compliance with the standard criteria, identify any opportunities for improvement and deviations as well for immediate implementation of corrective and preventive action in order to ensure continual improvement. So without wasting time, we're going to be looking into our template, which is the ISO 45001 template. And as the name connotes, it is strictly for carrying out an audit for organizations that subscribe to the ISO standard, the ISO 45001 standard. All right. Now, this template is going to help you to actually streamline your process of carrying out an audit. It helps you to adequately report on exactly what you're doing in order to communicate effectively with your stakeholders. All right. So there's our table of content. Like most of the template that you've seen already, we have all these, basically the sheets within the workbook. So we have the approved list, audit scoring criteria, audit checklist, audit summary. We have this corrective and preventive action plan. We have the dashboard. We have these reports within the workbook. And these are all actually just to provide us with the overview, but you can actually click here to navigate to any section within the workbook, like by just clicking here, right? So this is the approved list, and this is where we have our list of root causes. We have action priority, we have action status. You have the option to actually build on these root causes. We are going to be using that in the template because whenever you identify a deviation, you need to establish what the root cause is in order to come up with appropriate recommendation or corrective or preventive action that would address the root cause or address the problem. All right. Now we have this scoring criteria, and this is actually based on compliance, opportunity for improvement, minor and major non-conformance. And these are the definitions for compliance. So compliance basically adhering to the requirements of the standard and the health and safety management system. And there's a process that has been established. There are documented information to support that they are indeed complying with the standard, right? And again, you need to monitor that to ensure that they are still compliant. When it comes to opportunity for improvement, that is a low risk. That shows that there's potential, for, it's just a low risk, which is an opportunity for them to improve. But failure to improve over time can actually be downgraded to a minor non-conformance, especially when they are not able to prove that they have a better system of addressing whatever opportunity for improvement you've identified. All right. So this is the fact that they have to review, and implement actions to improve the process, monitor the trends. For minor non-conformance, it is a medium risk. Minor non-conformance resulting in a deviation of a process or practice, not likely to result in a failure of the management system. So you need to investigate to implement corrective action. High could actually impact on the management system and could result in an incident, and you need to implement an immediate action to contain the situation and implement corrective action. All right. So this is actually the audit scoring criteria and the standard, the standard requirement for the various clauses of the ISO standard. So from context, leadership, planning, support, operation, evaluation, and improvement. So we have all these questions that are supporting the clauses and the sub clauses, and this is where you provide your responses. And once you provide your responses, they're going to be calculated. The level of compliance is going to be calculated for you automatically, and all the minor and major non-conformance will be transferred onto the action plan sheet. All right, so the non-conformance CAPA action plan sheet. Now we have our audit summary, which is basically the calculations that we use for the dashboard, and that is taking the data from this checklist. So as you complete the checklist, it's going to be counting the number of compliance, the number of minor, number of major, and OFI, and it will ascertain the compliance level and match it against the target of 100%. All right. So this section, as I've earlier mentioned, basically every non-conformance, you need to track it. You need to make sure that you're identifying the root cause, which you select from the drop-down list. And this drop-down list is coming from the approved list. So once you select from here, then you provide a corrective and preventive action. The person responsible, you set a target date, and then this date is going to be tracked for you automatically. And then the action priority also will be, you can select, and the action state. Once an action is closed, then it's going to stop counting. If it's open, it's going to be tracking the days due, right? So that's what this section is all about. Usually, whenever you register any non-conformance like this, if I delete it, you notice that in the CAPA sheet, here goes blank, meaning that there's nothing to report, which implies that we have to delete these responses. But if if you have to bring it back, then we come to the CAPA sheet, you realize that they all populate. So this section is automated. Usually it's going to look something like this, where you would have to make sure that you have an overview of what the sheet is, and any part that is not supposed to feature in the report. For example, assuming you change the responses, it would then imply that some of these will go blank, and this section is manually entered, so you would have to manually delete them. So you need to introduce a blank so you can actually see everything and delete the rest that do not apply, and then you can take your time to apply the filter to reduce the size of the sheet or the size of the Excel table. All right, so that's pretty much what it is. And then again, we have the report. So this is just a pre-built, this is just a report that you can actually use for your audit report. But of course, your management system documentation, you would have an audit report template that you can actually use. Now, there's a dashboard, and there's the excitement of our templates in the sense that we are actually making it easy for you to effectively report on your audits. All right. So the performance of the organization that you have audited, you should be able to demonstrate that and communicate effectively to stakeholders. So you're looking at the number of audit questions, how many are compliant, how many are major non-conformance, how many are minor non-conformance, and opportunity for improvement. And then we have the various clauses of the standard, the various compliance levels from context, leadership, planning, support, operation, evaluation, and improvement. And here we have, the count of the audit findings. So compliance, minor, major, non-conformance, and OFI are all going to be counted here. And this is the overall compliance score of the after the audit. So you can tell that, okay, the audits, the organization did quite well. The score is 87%, and that is enough to prove that they have a system in place, they're complying with the system, There have been a few deviations which you are tracking here. So you are able to effectively communicate, the performance basically. So these are all the individual reports that we use for the dashboard. You can actually copy any of them and use it for your internal communication within your organization. Internal communication in a sense that you can simply copy this and paste it on a Word document. Or if you like, you can still copy this chart and paste it on a PowerPoint. It's very simple. Just copy, Control-C, go to a PowerPoint slide, just paste special, and then you paste it. There will be an option for you to paste in Microsoft Objects, file, whatever. You're going to see that and you just paste it. Now, take note, this dashboard is dynamic, so you can actually drill down, looking at specific areas and all. So this is basically what our audit tool is for ISO 45001. So this is strictly based on the standard criteria, which is 45001. All right. So the advantage of our tool is that we are helping you to do effective reporting, and that is very, very important as far as EHS is concerned. If you're not able to communicate exactly what you're doing, then what it means is that you're probably not doing it, and your management are not going to be confident in you that you're on top of issues. All right. So thank you all for your attention. I hope you found this video very insightful. If you're interested in more of such videos, do all to subscribe to this channel or follow us on LinkedIn and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right. Meet again soon in another video. Bye for now. Cheers.